But just to the opposition for a moment, it's becoming clearer that something that looked impossible just a year ago is no longer. The coalition under Peter Dutton could actually win the next election, but it needs to do a lot more. Now, for a start, it needs a reshuffle. Now, I have a left field idea here. That reshuffle includes bringing back Scott Morrison. Now, I think I can hear people laughing through the TV screens. Morrison has actually, yes, he's been disowned even by his own party since the election loss. He's been treated like a leper and a scapegoat. But you know, people forget. He was actually a very good immigration minister for a start. He was a prime minister too, won a miracle election. The man's clearly not an idiot. He can run a department. And what's more, seeing Morrison this week in Israel, clearly explaining why its war was ours too, and seeing him in Taiwan talking up the cause of freedom and suggesting closer ties there too, and then seeing him also correctly link the defence of Ukraine to our defence against the new threat from the new axis of authoritarians, China, Russia and Iran, seeing all that tells me that Morrison could be a very capable foreign minister, better than the opposition's current foreign affairs spokesman, Simon Birmingham, who's made little impression. To me, he's too much the bureaucrat. And the opposition must actually muscle up, get experience on the front bench. Right now, it's relying on too few people to keep it competitive. I mean, there's obviously leader Peter Dutton, who's doing a good job. Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa-Price, superstar, helped him defeat Labor's plan for a voice. What a leadership team they would make, right? So at the very least, I think Price should be promoted and made spokesman not just for Indigenous Australians, but social security as well, so that she can be seen to represent all Australians on the basis of need rather than race eventually. And some other coalition frontbenchers have also done well. James Patterson on just a few minutes ago, Andrew Hastie, you'll hear from him soon, Jane Hume, Dan Tehan obviously, a handful of others, Michael Sukkar, Barnaby Joyce, Michaela Cash, a few others. But let me read out the names, and I'm sorry to sound so mean to them, but let me read out the names of some other people who are on the opposition's front bench, supposedly ministers in a future Dutton government. Angie Bell. Heard of her? Nola Marino. No? Admittedly, just an assistant shadow minister, but still. How about Kevin Hogan? Melissa McIntosh? I won't go on. I've made enough enemies right there. Yet there are, meanwhile, sitting on the backbench, untapped, are coalition figures who have made much more impact. And if the coalition wants to get into fighting shape, they should be given shadow ministries instead. Some come with considerable experience. I mean, I ask you, do you think it makes sense that Matt Canavan, the whip-smart former resources minister, is not on the front bench? Or Keith Pitt, another former resources minister, twiddling his thumbs? I'd also add newcomer Keith Woolahan. I mean, it's too left-wing for me, but he's smart, need balance. Another newbie, Garth Hamilton, very thoughtful. I'd even bring back Julian Leeser. That's how forgiving I am, despite him betraying Liberal principles by voting yes to the voice. But what I'm saying is that the Liberals now need to show that they can be trusted with government, and experience counts, and so do smarts. The opposition under Peter Dutton now have a sniff of victory. With Labor struggling to connect to battlers, with cost of living going through the roof, a reshuffle over Christmas could really set them up, and Scott Morrison could well be part of that.